Mitch Trubisky news has resurfaced. So there have been a number of trades in the NFL for quarterbacks recently. Russell Wilson to the Broncos, huge trade. Carson Wentz to the Commanders, a place where they were tied to Mitch Trubisky. So the question is, what's left for Mitch? According to a new report from the New York Post, the Giants and Mitch Trubisky could end up with a deal the first day of free agency. He's expected to be a target by the Giants when free agency begins next week. It would reunite the 27-year-old quarterback with Brian Daboll, his former offensive coordinator, who was named the Giants head coach. Trubisky, in a new interview, said, quote, "I'm excited to see what he does in New York. I don't know where I'm going to go, but I do know that whatever he does there, he's going to do a great job with that offense. He's a great leader of men. He's just real and authentic. All the guys, and I think that's why so many people respected him in our building in Buffalo. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do." Now, as we all know, it's pretty obvious, the Giants already have a quarterback, Daniel Jones. I want to make myself clear. Daniel Jones is a bust. That's not just me saying it. New York sports radio hosts say it a lot, but I really mean it. Daniel Jones is a bust. Entering his 5th year, he's done nothing of significance. I remember the day he was drafted. Maybe you do too. One of those top picks, and everybody was like, who the hell is this? Like, does this make sense? Why is this happening? Nobody really understood it. Nobody got it. But they did from Duke. Okay, who is this? And he did nothing. He's done nothing of significance his entire career. He could run a little bit. That's great. I mean, Mitch can too. We're trying to compare who's better, who's worse. I mean, doesn't make any sense. Mitch Trubisky, by far, is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. If Mitch Trubisky goes to the Giants, goes to a place where Brian Daboll just worked with him in Buffalo, now he goes to New York, that'd be a great situation to me. Read you that quote from 2 weeks ago on the video I made about Mitch, talking about how he said the offense is simpler under Daboll. There isn't as much thinking. Even Josh Allen said recently, he's an athlete. Mitch Trubisky is not some idiot. He's an athlete. He's a good quarterback. Or he can be good with the right coaching, the right tutelage, and the right team around him. Now, as far as weapons go, not too much there in New York. Not a great offensive line either. That's a bit scary. But if we're going to talk about potential starting ability, if we're going to talk about who's better and a good offense under Brian Daboll, it would make a lot of sense for Mitch to go there. I personally thought it was going to be the Commanders or the Broncos, but now obviously that's not going to be the case. So when you evaluate his new options, what? Carolina, maybe Houston, the Giants, and Pittsburgh. I think he'd do great in Pittsburgh. But as more reports come out, as we hear more about Mitch and what happened in Buffalo this past year, it's obvious there was some connection. It's obvious they got along really well, Mitch and Daboll. Who knows? Maybe there was a deal in place where they've been in touch and Daboll said, wherever I go, I want you to come with. Maybe that's why the Bears didn't hire him. I mean, this is just speculation, but it's possible. That stuff happens all the time. Look at Brian Flores. He said, wherever I go, I want Deshaun Watson with me. Possible behind closed doors, those conversations were had. I do know this. He will be on a new team. That's a fact. I was actually told by a source about that. I was told he will have a new team. And the announcement will come when the free agency starts. So he's not going back to Buffalo, and he ain't coming here, obviously. That was a real source who told me that. He will be on a new team. So, at this point, we don't really know who, but we have an idea now. It's not going to be Washington, and it's not going to be Denver. There are fewer options left. Pittsburgh, Houston, Carolina, and I guess the Giants. Here's the positive about going to New York. Now, the market's going to be horrible media-wise. They're probably going to screw him and hurt him like they did here in Chicago. It's going to be way worse. But the positive is you're going to a coach who knows you. This is not Matt Nagy. This is not some sort of situation where you inherit a coach. This is serious. That's the positive. This is a serious relationship that's been cultivated over a year. Daboll knows exactly who Mitch Trubisky is, what he's capable of, what his limitations are, if any, and what his strengths are. And he knows, most importantly, how to cater an offense to him, something Matt Nagy still is clueless about. I think it'd be a great fit, assuming the competition is fair and based on merit. Based on merit right now, Mitch Trubisky's a way better quarterback than Daniel Jones. So as long as the Giants tell Daboll essentially do what you want, we don't have any loyalty to Jones anymore, Mitch Trubisky will start week 1, and he'll probably do okay, if not better than okay. Above average, top 15 to 20. But as we saw here in Chicago with the 2020 season, if ownership gets involved, if the head coach has an affinity towards somebody, there could be a problem. If there's bias in the evaluation, there will be a problem. That's the thing you got to worry about if you're Mitch and you're wondering where to go. But again, different knowing Daboll's the head coach. There's obviously a connection. There's a good rapport between the two. So I think that's going to be his logical destination. We will see what happens in free agency. I wouldn't be opposed to that move, though. It'd be a great move for Mitch's career. Only problem is, huge market, you got to perform. But you're with the right guy who can give you the toolkit to make sure that you perform.